Alrighty, we're about to go live here. Oh man, this is frustrating, but it's okay. So, I just had an entire TED Talk rant, sort of a thing, about ghosting. And I actually feel like it was a very important topic, but I'd like to go into it again, because as I was uploading it, no audio was recorded. But now I can see my microphone is working. I need to reduce the volume of the microphone a little bit, but we're back. It was a really good TED Talk, guys. Like, it hurts my heart to know that, like, it wasn't recorded. I'm gonna go ahead in my options. I'm gonna lower the volume because a lot of volume in the background here. Cool. So, welcome to my house. I am actually a married man in here. This is my dog, Remington. Remington, show me love! Love me! It won't love me if I scythe him to death. It's my fireplace. My neighbor doesn't have a fireplace. I'm very proud of my fireplace. And this is my lovely wife. Her name is Haley. Aw, she kisses me. It's so sweet. And now I'm gonna go out into the rain. Ooh, that is storming. Ooh, we have a Pelican Town luau. Best behavior, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Okay. So what am I focusing on today? I'm gonna grow me some melons. Actually, I have like no work to do. I'm just gonna go to the mines and blow some stuff up. Anyways, so my topic of choice today was ghosting. Ghosting in modern dating. And I'm gonna start off by simply saying, that I think ghosting is the most cowardly way out you can go from in a dating situation. That being said, there are caveats. If you feel that you are in any kind of potential risk or danger by continuing a conversation with somebody, yes, you may ghost. It's a rare occasion when I think that you should be able to ghost somebody, but the occasion does at times arrive. My conversation comes from within reason. Anyone in a reasonable situation, if you feel the only way out is to ghost somebody, I think you really need to take a deep look at yourself and ask yourself why. Why did you feel that ghosting somebody was an acceptable form of behavior? Now, my argument for this is as follows. You felt that you had the maturity to go out with somebody, spend time with them, maybe they bought you dinner or something, God knows, right? And, things didn't go as well as you'd hoped or well as you planned. Now, if you feel you are dealing with a rational human being, someone that could be discussed with, someone that you don't think was going to, fly off the handle for giving them anything other than positive feedback, I think that if you are hoping to cut off connection with somebody, you owe them at least that much respect. I think we live in a society now that idolizes simplicity and ease of use, and we are trying to streamline everything as much as humanly possible. We want to take out the difficulty in every single little thing that we do. And that's great for a lot of different things, right? Like, I definitely want to make it easier to go to work. Hopefully my drive isn't as difficult as taking a horse and carriage, right? However, I also think that in that difficulty, there are some things that we should have difficulty with because it helps us grow. It helps our character. In life, no matter how hard we try, we will always find difficult things. And if we don't deal with those difficult things, we don't grow our character. Excuse me, my voice is still coming back. Like I was saying, we don't grow our character. And in this life, I think one of the only things we really have to cling on to is who we are when no one's looking, or who we are when no one can really hold us accountable. And I think ghosting is a perfect example of that. So, ghosting is harmful for many reasons. You know, not just to the person being ghosted, but to the person that is doing the ghosting. It teaches you that conflict resolution is not a thing that matters. And when you're dating, typically the goal is to find yourself a partner, right? You're sitting there hoping that you will match with someone well enough that, you know, marriage is an option, or maybe just lifelong partnership. Depends on the person, right? But how do you expect to accomplish those things if you're depriving yourself of the opportunity to deal with hard issues and communicate with somebody and deal with those things head on? So by ghosting somebody, you've essentially told yourself, not worth my time, don't want to deal with this. Now the consequence the other person deals with is that now they're left sitting there confused, because the other person may have simply thought the date went great. And I find it to be completely unfair to the other person to be left in the dark. It's just mean, right? That's a person at the other end of it. You went out with a human being that has feelings, and that most likely wants to understand what they did wrong for future reference, right? It's not your job to baby them or to nanny them into success, but it is at least your job to say, hey, you know, it was a little bit off-putting when you did X, Y, and Z. Maybe wouldn't do that next time. Turned me away enough that I realized we're not proper partners for each other. And I think most people would be perfectly fine with something like that. Go your own opposite ways, move on, and be happy in life. I'm going to the mines now so I can get me some good old goodies here. I gotta get me some copper. Copper! So, I think the first thing is, by ghosting people, you are depriving yourself the opportunity to improve your communication skills, which Lord knows when you find a good partner for you, you don't want to lose them because you didn't know how to communicate with them during hard times. And, you know, a bad date is a very, very low risk and very low emotional investment to talk to somebody about issues. And who knows, maybe by talking to them, you realize there was something a bit more there for you. Maybe you've thrown away a good potential suitor because the first date didn't go great. So you're depriving yourself of a lot of things there, just the potential of something good or the potential of learning something. Next, you are essentially traumatizing people, because now people are going to walk more on edge. Oh my God, if I don't do everything 100% correct, I'll just get ghosted. And yeah, maybe it doesn't affect someone deep down to the core, but over time, that kind of stuff can jade people. And then we sit there complaining about how, you know, there's no good dating partners. People just kind of suck. They're annoying. Why do people act a certain way? There's no better way of trying to change the world you live in than by being the change you want to see in this world. And that might simply mean being mature enough to have those difficult discussions when they arise. You know? And the next thing comes that nobody wants to deal with rejection, right? And you're essentially rejecting somebody. And whether we'd like to admit it or not, nobody wants to deal with rejected or to reject somebody, because that bothers us. It hurts. And nobody wants to be the cause of somebody's pain. But all you're doing by ghosting somebody, you're still causing that same pain. The difference is you're leaving them with confusion as well, which that's a lot more unfair, because they don't have the opportunity to make up for it in another time. They don't, you know, what if the person was something as simple as like, hey, the jokes you were making because they were nervous just didn't jive with you, right? You don't give someone the benefit of the doubt. And that, at least in my opinion, is pretty unfair. But I think dating is typically seen as rough for many people because we leave it as this great unknown. We don't know how the other person's going to react. We don't know how they're going to offend us or hurt us or break our little hearts, right? And a lot of that can be, I think, relieved in the dating scene by each one of us becoming a better dating partner. And that's as simple as communicating a little bit better with people, right? I didn't have fun on this date. I'm sorry. I don't think we're a good match. I wish you the best in your endeavors. You know, it's almost like an exit interview, right? You want to have a polite exit interview. Leave the window open in case something changes in your life. Who knows? You know, maybe you want a job again at that same place or another date with that person in the future. Maybe you were just in the wrong place to begin with. But I find that ghosting does very little for society but harm. And that's something that we can so easily control on our behalfs by simply having that communication. It's tough. It's very tough. But when you decide to date somebody long term, it doesn't get easier. In fact, I would say the practice should start in the easy dating times, not while you're sitting there actually with somebody you care about and you feel like there might be something at real risk, right? Because now you've never had the opportunity to practice that muscle or to train that muscle on how to give someone bad or rough news. And now your first set of training is going to be with the person you love, care, deeply about. And so the downsides of ghosting are so massive that I almost don't see a logical reason, within reason, why anyone would ghost somebody. You're depriving each other of valuable life experiences. That's all. And, we think to ourselves, well, I want to find a good partner for me. How can you go out and be a good partner or find a good partner if you don't know how to be a good partner? Because in respect of the situation you were in, right? You went on a date. They were your partner for the night. They were the person you chose to spend your time with. And so, in essence, you were their partner. And you not being able to be a good one can speak volumes about you. So, in whatever situation you're in, be a good partner. Learn to communicate. People are going to suck sometimes. Be a person that sucks less, right? Doesn't seem like it'd be that hard. But apparently it is for some people. And I'm just I'm constantly surprised by the things people desire but aren't willing to do. And I'll give you an example, right? I heard a song recently, and the line that stuck out to me was, "Can we just skip to the good part?" It's a very, very catchy song. I can't remember the name of it right now. However, my instant thought of it was no. No, you cannot just skip to the good part, because you'll never know what the good part is if you didn't have a bit of it getting there, right? You need to face some trials. There needs to be tribulations in your life. There needs to be difficulty for you to appreciate the good. This cough will eventually go away, I promise. Let me actually hold that thought right there. Let me grab some water so I can continue this conversation with you. Yes. The water is back. My voice can continue. And this conversation can go on. So like I was saying, we want to skip to the good part. We want this instant gratification, which does no one any good service. It's a disservice to everyone when you just get to the good part. We'll use the example of dating. How could you appreciate your partner if you never took the time to win them over? Get to know them. Really understand what makes them tick. And that's the beautiful part about dating, right? As in the process of you slowly falling in love with somebody, it's that observation time when you're kind of watching somebody and their mannerisms and the way they tick and the things that they say and their emotional reactions to the interactions you're having. Those things that we deem to be very sweet and kind, we learn those things about people through the time we take to date them, And we might even consider some of that the good part. Although a lot of us tend to think that getting to the good part means, in a relationship now, they're locked down, or sex. But that's not. Those are goals to have, right? Those are the end desires or outcomes you'd like to see. But realistically, the journey is what matters, right? If another example I like to use with people, if you were to wake up tomorrow and have all the money in the world, you'd never have to worry about it again. You could do anything you want. A lot of people would choke up real fast. Because suddenly they realize, I don't have to show up to work anymore, right? I don't have to do anything. You're going to sit there and probably do a couple of fun things at first, and then realize you're going to get really bored. A lot of you might even waste the money, right? You were given a few $1 million, you never have to work for it again. You might waste that money because you do not have the discipline from attaining that finance, that money. When you don't have that discipline, it's very hard to retain what you've gotten. And so I am completely all about the journey is as important, if not more important, than the destination. You need to focus on the situation at hand, the growth that it provides you. I think I found there we go. Found it. So don't just expect things to be handed to you. Same with dating. Ghosting is the easy way out. Do not ghost people. Take the difficulty, take the hard parts, and enjoy them for what they are. They are a stepping stone, a learning lesson in who you are, what you want, and who you want to be. And when you're curious about dating, right? Why am I not finding the person I'm wanting? Why do I have to keep ghosting people, right? Look at yourself first and ask a simple question. Am I a person that I would want to date? Am I the person that's going to be able to attract the person that I want? I watch a lot of Jordan Peterson, and one of the best pieces of advice that I think he's given is write things down. Become a good orator, speak well, and learn to write things down. Learn to work on your ideas and how to extrapolate your thoughts. Because in that process is where you learn to become a bit of a monster, where you can just challenge the world, take it head on, and just conquer. And that's very important while dating. That's arguably one of the most important times you're going to be conquering something. You'll be kind of conquering someone's heart, right? But to do that effectively and to succeed in a marriage or a long-term relationship, you have to be able to conquer yourself. And conquering oneself is so much harder than what it looks like sometimes. Back to the water. I can feel my voice clonking out there. That self-discipline that a lot of people tend to lack is astounding, right? Let's see what my wife had to say this morning. Oh, I snored. Just love you. Goodbye. People tend to want to accomplish great things without realizing that to accomplish great things, they require great sacrifice. And that sacrifice, you are learning what it takes to have the things that you want. So I encourage you guys to do something difficult. If you want to go accomplish starting a business or finding the love of your dreams, right? What are you willing to do to accomplish those things? Now, if your answer is not much, well, then there you go. Those will be your results too. It's a question I have to ask myself on a constant basis, actually. I run my own businesses and everything, so I ask myself often, do I want to go clock in and just have a job? Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not for everybody. Or do I, that would cap me at a certain income, right? I could probably make whatever my employer is willing to pay me. Or would I rather have the autonomy to make my own decisions and aspire for something great, something huge? I know for me the answer is always the same. I want to aspire to something bigger. I always want something bigger. I want my earning ability to be infinite. It's only capped by my ability. And so I'm all about that. Same goes with dating, right? What do you want your results to be? Do you want to have a relationship in which you're like, it's an okay one. It's an okay relationship. It's fine. It'll do. Or do you want to aspire to something that's great? Something that really is fairy tale like? Not saying that you should obsess over what Disney's telling you, but it's to get great results, you have to put in great sacrifice. It's simple as that. And I think that's a very, very hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. And if that's you, if that sounds like you, maybe it's time to start working on yourself a little bit. Just a scotch, Set yourself challenges. Do things that scare you. I live in a constant world of fear myself. Not really, but I'm constantly doing things that scare me or that I feel are very, very difficult. And the thing is, I wouldn't change it because I do not want to be the kind of person that gets lazy. I could very easily be a lazy person. Then I'd be very sad, though. So I know where I sit with that, at least. But figure out who you are. What do you want to do? Who do you want to be? Would you date you? Right? Would you be pretty upset if you knew that the person you were dating ghosts people? Especially if you'd been ghosted before, right? That kind of hurt your feelings. Like, how could you do that to somebody? Again, caveat being, unless they're complete, jerks. There's always exceptions to the rule, of course, but it's just food for thought. And I'm really liking doing these live game streams and talking about what I think are social problems that need to kind of be worked on. So I think I might be doing this more. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on ghosting. When is it acceptable? Is it acceptable? Have you done it? Do you do it often? If so, why? Might be the most important question. Why do you feel it's okay to ghost somebody? Have you been ghosted, and how did it make you feel? I want to have a conversation with you guys and know what's on your minds. Maybe I'm off base. Maybe that's just the way things go. But I'm very much of the deal with things head on. Do not skirt responsibility, and do not be afraid. Consequences happen, but if you're willing to risk it, and going out on the date, I'm willing to risk it, having to tell somebody, hey, just not that into you, I'm sorry. I wish you the best of luck, though. So, we'll go from there, guys. Good chit-chatting with you guys. That was my TED Talk. And I hope to see you guys here soon. Adios.